It's time for KinoCheck News. All the latest from the world of movies and series in one place. This week had plenty to offer. Dwayne Johnson in The Mummy 4, the leaked opening scene of Avengers Doomsday, and new projects from the Game of Thrones universe. Of course, we're also covering the Oscar nominations and the latest progress on the new Batman and Robin film. So sit back and grab a snack. Here are the details. Dwayne Johnson in The Mummy 4. A real comeback to his cinematic roots. According to insider Daniel Richtman, Universal Pictures is eager to bring The Rock back for the sequel, once again as the Scorpion King, of course. The studio is reportedly even looking to tie the Hollywood star to the franchise long-term, regardless of how big his role in The Mummy 4 ends up being. The potential is certainly there. Back in 2002, the Scorpion King already received a solo film. Since then, there have been 4 more movies, but without Dwayne Johnson. The cast of the Mummy sequel is already generating excitement among fans, as Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz are also returning to their roles. A reunion with the Scorpion King would make sense. After all, he was a part of their last joint adventure at the end of The Mummy Returns. By the way, the movie will be directed by the filmmakers behind Scream 5 and Scream 6. However, be careful not to confuse it with another completely different Mummy film coming out in April, directed by Lee Cronin. Although this movie was originally intended to be part of the franchise too, it now has nothing to do with the official sequel. But what do you think about Dwayne Johnson's possible comeback? Are you excited to see the Scorpion King again? Or is this already too nostalgic? We'd love to hear your thoughts. The wave of Doomsday teasers seems to be over. And despite all the rumors, there was no sign of Dr. Doom. Instead, new leaks are now sparking heated discussions online. These leaks concern nothing less than the movie's opening scene. Several insiders describe a kickoff that's said to eclipse everything else. Here's a description of the leaks, so be warned about spoilers, should the rumors turn out to be true. Allegedly, we see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man right at the beginning, though entirely in CGI. The story supposedly takes place in an alternate reality. Here, Peter Parker fights alongside Dr. Octopus against the X-Men, including Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. But then comes the bombshell. Peter dies, and his universe is destroyed. Well, what a starting point for the new big Avengers adventure. It'd be wild for Marvel to kill off one of the most beloved versions of the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But who knows? It wouldn't be the first time insiders were wrong or films got changed. There's still some time until the movie's premiere. Avengers Doomsday hits theaters on December 18th, 2026. The trailer topic of the week is by far Masters of the Universe. The new He-Man movie is stirring up a lot of discussion. Some are thrilled to see the legendary hero back on the big screen, while others are frustrated by the changes from the original, considering it a total mess. Star Wars fans are likewise split over the first trailer for the new animated series Maul Shadow Lord. On the one hand, there's anticipation for the reunion with the popular villain, but on the other hand, viewers are complaining about the endless milking of old successes. A quick tip from us? In our new episode of KinoCheck Originals, we take a look at the biggest blockbusters expected to hit theaters in 2026 and 2027. Stay up to date and know exactly what's worth looking forward to. Fresh content for Game of Thrones fans. HBO has 2 new projects at the very top of its wish list. Project number 1 is actually a kind of continuation of the original series, but quite different from what we had previously been expecting. For a long time, there was talk of a possible spin-off centered on Jon Snow, but that idea has since been scrapped. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the cancellation was due to creative differences. Actor Kit Harington had been working with 2 writers on a very unconventional concept. Jon Snow was to be portrayed as a broken man who chases off his direwolf, discards his sword Longclaw, and lives a life in isolation. The story would have ultimately ended with his death. HBO rejected this idea, deeming it too depressing. So instead, a different concept for a sequel is now in development, and it revolves entirely around Arya Stark. Insiders suspect it could also involve a return to Essos. Author George R.R. Martin is said to have already met with Maisie Williams to discuss a collaboration. Now for project number 2, according to reports, HBO is very interested in adapting Aegon's Conquest. Set around 300 years before the events of Game of Thrones, the story tells the bloody rise of the Targaryens, as Aegon the Conqueror subjugated the 7 kingdoms with dragons and armies. It's still unclear whether the story will be realized as an HBO series or as an elaborately produced feature film. But for those who don't want to wait that long, the spin-off A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is currently available on HBO and HBO Max. And sometime in 2026, we can look forward to the third season of House of the Dragon. So clearly, there's plenty more to come from Westeros. Zootopia 2 has achieved a true sensation. The Disney hit is now the most commercially successful Hollywood animated film ever. And at the same time, the sequel is climbing the all-time box office rankings, with Zootopia 2 now occupying 9th place. Worldwide, the Disney movie has grossed around $1.71 billion US. It's thus surpassed Inside Out 2 and pushed it down to 10th place. However, an animated film outside Hollywood has earned even more at the box office. Ne Zha 2, the Chinese box office hit, raked in a whopping $2.26 billion, making it the 5th highest grossing film of all time. Of course, at the top remains James Cameron's Avatar with $2.92 billion US. Have you seen Zootopia 2? And do you think its success is deserved? Let us know in the comments. Finally, some progress on the new DCU Batman. With The Brave and the Bold, we're getting a second Dark Knight alongside Robert Pattinson. And now it looks like we know who's writing the story. According to The Hollywood Reporter, DC has tapped Christina Hodson for the job. You might know her as the writer of The Flash and Birds of Prey. Insiders say she's actually been working on the script since at least the fall. The exciting part? We're finally getting a dynamic duo again. Batman meets his biological son Damian Wayne as Robin. But Damian was raised by assassins and is extremely brutal, and Bruce wasn't even aware of his existence until the events of the film. The project is still set to be helmed by the Flash director Andy Muschietti, provided he has enough time for it. He's currently very busy with his involvement in the It universe. For instance, the second season of Welcome to Derry has just been confirmed. The 2026 Oscar nominations are here. And of course, all eyes are on the Best Picture category. In our opinion, there are two clear favorites. On the one hand, one battle after another. Paul Thomas Anderson's masterpiece starring Leonardo DiCaprio about the absurd struggles of a former revolutionary. The movie has already cleaned up big at the nominations. The biggest competitor? Sinners, Ryan Coogler's vampire horror thriller. This genre film was a real surprise hit in 2025. A horror movie for Best Picture of the Year? That would be a sensation at the Oscars. After all, the Academy often ignores mainstream tastes. But who could stop these two? Well, there's Frankenstein by Guillermo del Toro, for example. Netflix is sending in a visual showpiece, where we see the most potential in the technical categories. Another movie generating buzz is Marty Supreme by A24. Director Josh Safdie presents Timothée Chalamet as a table tennis player. While it may not sound all that exciting, critics are raving, especially about the lead actor's performance. He's got a good shot at taking home an Oscar. And not to be underestimated, Chloe Zhao. Being the first Asian woman to win the Academy Award for Best Director, she's now competing with Hamnet, an emotional drama starring Jessie Buckley and Paul Mescal. Hamnet could end up coming out on top while the bigger movies tear each other apart. And where's the popcorn cinema? Films like Avatar: Fire and Ash and Brad Pitt's F1 are strong contenders in the technical categories. Visual effects, sound, and editing. Anything else would be surprising. And that's it for our quick rundown of the Oscar nominations. You can find the full overview with all categories and nominations on the KinoCheck website and in the KinoCheck app. Now it's your turn. What are your predictions for the 2026 Academy Awards? Or do you just not care about the award ceremony at all? Which topic caught your attention the most? And what would you like us to cover more of? We'd love to hear your suggestions and wish you a fantastic week. Until next time, your KinoCheck team. And in case you missed it, here's more news that will pique your interest. Finally, a sign of life from Wakanda. And it's quite something. Filming for Black Panther 3 is reportedly set to begin in London as early as June 2026. The title? Black Panther 3: Shadows of Wakanda. The plot revolves around the kingdom's growing vulnerability after the death of T'Challa. Letitia Wright will reprise the lead role as Shuri. She'll be joined by some high-profile talent. Acting legend Denzel Washington has now been officially confirmed for the cast. And at the same time, rumors about F1 star Damson Idris keep circulating. He could play an older version of T'Challa's son, though Idris himself is playing his cards close to his chest regarding the matter. According to the leaks, Black Panther 3 is scheduled to open in theaters on February 18th, 2028. It's finally official. We have our Kratos for the God of War Amazon series. Ryan Hurst will take on the role of the Spartan. This is promising, because not only do we know him from Sons of Anarchy, the man is also deeply rooted in the God of War universe. In the game Ragnarok, he was actually the voice of Thor. Now he's switching sides, from the God of Thunder to the God of War. Showrunner Ronald D. Moore has emphasized that it won't be a one-to-one copy of the game, but the series will be heavily based on the 2018 game. The first season is expected to have 10 episodes, though the release date has not been announced yet. Nevertheless, Amazon is serious about this project. Even though filming hasn't even started, Season 2 has already been officially ordered. Ryan Hurst as Kratos? A great choice, or would you have preferred to see someone else in the role? There she is, the new Lara Croft. Amazon has presented the first official image of Sophie Turner in the iconic outfit. The actress takes on the leading role in the upcoming Tomb Raider series. But the cast has even more to offer. Also involved in the project are sci-fi legend Sigourney Weaver and Harry Potter star Jason Isaacs. Behind the scenes too, there are big names such as Fleabag creator Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Shogun director Jonathan Van Tulliken. Filming is set to begin in just a few days, but a release date for the Tomb Raider series has not been announced yet. What are your thoughts on this? Are you a fan of the look, or do you believe Sophie Turner is a poor casting choice? There's been considerable skepticism regarding her casting thus far, and this first image is likely to reignite the debate. The new Hotel Transylvania sequel is on the way. This was revealed by Murray's voice actor Keegan-Michael Key at the Golden Globes. He didn't want to disclose any further details yet, like, for example, when the film will be released. But we don't expect it to come out any earlier than 2027. Originally, Part 4 was supposed to be the end of the film series. At the time, it was heavily promoted as the final chapter. But even creator Genndy Tartakovsky has repeatedly hinted that the story of the wacky monster family is not over yet. Now be honest, are you still up for another installment of Hotel Transylvania? And what could the new adventure be about? Sour news for all Marvel fans. The new Blade solo film starring Mahershala Ali has been cancelled for good, according to insider Jeff Snyder. But there is a plan B. The Daywalker is set to make his MCU live-action debut in the team-up film Midnight Suns instead, alongside Ghost Rider and Moon Knight. The new Blade most recently appeared in the animated series Marvel Zombies. But as for Midnight Suns, we'll have to wait a bit longer, probably after Avengers Secret Wars at the end of 2027. Now, the drama surrounding Blade's solo film has been dragging on for a long time. Since 2019, directors kept dropping out and scripts were repeatedly discarded. In one version, Blade was even meant to be a supporting character, taking a backseat to his daughter. So the new plans actually seem like the better choice. Unless, of course, you're on team, there's only been one Blade, and his name is Wesley Snipes. An update on Avatar 4. James Cameron has brought an Oscar winner on board and also revealed more details about the role. We're talking about Michelle Yeoh. She'll play a Na'vi named Palak Puelat in the sequel. And not just in the next film, but also in Avatar 5. But keep in mind that these sequels are not a sure thing yet. Cameron openly admitted that the production of Fire and Ash was extremely expensive. So going forward, the team urgently needs to find ways to reduce costs. The Way of Water ended up grossing a whopping $2.3 billion US, and Fire and Ash is currently at $1.2 billion. The Life is Strange Amazon series has presumably found its lead actress. According to well-connected insider Jeff Snyder, the role of Max Caulfield will go to Maisie Stella. You might know her from the TV series Nashville or the movie My Old Ass. In the game Life is Strange, Max is a photography student who can rewind time and starts investigating strange events in her hometown. Fans have high hopes. The showrunner is Charlie Koval, the creative mind behind the cult hit The End of the Fucking World. Sounds like the perfect choice to capture the emotional indie vibe of the video game. But what do you think? Does Maisie Stella look the part of Max? And who would you like to see cast as the rebellious Chloe, the second main character in the story? A release date for the Life is Strange series has not been announced yet, but we'll keep you updated as always.